Welcome to it, sports fans. I'm MKT. It is the MKT Show. And it is racing by. First week of October is done and dusted. Just like that, huh? Insane. We're 2 months away. Remember the beginning of the pandemic? Everyone thought this thing's never going to end. But here we are, still alive. I'm alive. Gareth Cliff's alive. Physical distancing, good for us. Very, very good news. A lot of this is good news. So good evening to you. I'm MKT. As I've said, we can move straight into the news. Hey, by the way, rugby's back this weekend. So there's that as well. And there's still a team called Bafana Bafana, if you are South African, by the way, which is still a thing. So I thought I'd rock the shirt tonight. If I'm honest, I'd forgotten that they were a thing. But they are a thing and they still play professional football. So if you could be kind enough to keep me updated with the score. I think it was, I saw after the half an hour, it was 1-0 to South Africa. They are playing in Namibia. Good luck to their boys. Royal Bafokeng, it must be sweltering. It must be sweltering hot in Bafokeng. That area gets insanely hot. Tonight, we're going to talk about Jadon Sancho, another disciplinary blip. I mean, you hate to pile on a guy, but you got to talk about it. He didn't obviously get his dream move. I'll tell you what I think about international football. Like it's international break. I mean, are you kidding me? I have a solution. Everybody always says, what do you do about World Cup qualification if you cancel international football? Right? That's always the line. How do people qualify for the World Cup? Blah, 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 blah. Dead story. Terrible. International football sucks. It's terrible. Cancel it. It's not a premium product. It is not a premium product. But we'll come back to that. Okay, well, if you're a Manchester United fan, all right, you saw that Jadon Sancho has been chased for 8 months now. Let me tell you something. I'm 34 years old now. If you are 34, like I am, at the age of 34, if you're still single, like I am, there's something wrong with you, by the way. I know it's hard to hear and people get defensive. Oh, I like my space, blah, blah, blah. If you want to be in a relationship at 34 and you're single, stop telling me all the good ones are taken. Stop telling me where do you meet people. There's plenty of people out there. There's plenty of great women and men who want to be in relationships. If you're single and 34, now I just want to say I believe I'm happy single, but okay. But if you are looking to be in a relationship and you're 34 and you're single, that's a you problem. There's something wrong with you. That's terrible to hear. It doesn't mean it's not true. It's terrible to hear. Nobody likes to hear that there's something wrong with them. It's always someone else's fault, right? It's always, they don't get me. The world doesn't understand me. Yeah, that's fine at 18, 15, maybe 23. When you're 34, single, looking to be in a relationship, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. That's a character issue. You have two choices. You can fix the character issue, or you can continue to complain and create your own reality. Now, the truth is going to stay the truth. The truth is going to stay the truth. The good ones are taken, or actually, you're unpleasant. You're unreliable. Maybe you drink too much. Maybe people don't trust you. You're always late. You can't hold a job. Whatever it may be. If you're 34, like I am, and single, and you want to be in a relationship, that's a you problem. What you need to do is sit in a room by yourself and go and figure that out. Why am I saying this? Is the Jadon Sancho signing is not about the money. I said it 6 weeks ago when people said 108 million, the deal's basically done. I said the only reason Manchester United are not short of money, they do not operate in a pandemic environment. They are not short of money. They've They paid 50 million for Fred and 50 million for Wan-Bissaka last season. In a Europa League season, they spent 300 million pounds in a time when they weren't in the Champions League. So don't worry about the money. Man United are a financial juggernaut. But there comes the point when the risk is too big for the reward. Right? We do this all the time. Is you can see, you know who's the best at risk reward in the world? Is children. Young children will never lie to you. You go to a family occasion, you go and see young children, you look who they run to and hug first. Because from a young age, we're actually really good as human beings at risk and reward. What is the risk in this situation versus the reward I get? So if I hug that uncle, that aunt, I tend to get sweets, right? I tend to get R2, $1, whatever it may be. I tend to get a hug, a warm, embracing hug. The one uncle, not so much. Maybe he smells of cigarettes. I don't know, whatever it is. But human beings are great at risk reward. With Jadon Sancho, folks, when you have a guy and he's going to cost you 108 million, I think Manchester United, which for Ed Woodward is surprising because it's a little bit of self-awareness. We already bit the poison chalice once. We already ate the forbidden fruit once. We spent a world record on Paul Pogba. Maybe we should have done a little research on why Fergie let him go. Why did Fergie let him go if he was such a wunderkind? Because Man United don't let people go. Remember when they let Paul Pogba go? What happened then? They brought Paul Scholes out of retirement and were starting Paul Scholes over him, and Pogba said, I'm out of here. If Fergie really wanted Pogba, you know what he did back then? £100,000. You're incredible. But Fergie saw something else. It wasn't about the football talent. Fergie got to see him every day. Man United are seeing it now. Is that it's a character issue. And they've already got Jesse Lingard. They've already got Anthony Martial. And then they've got the king of them all. They've already got Paul Pogba. And there's clearly a character issue. There is clearly a character issue. It's not about the ability. Paul Pogba can play football, but he's had the same problem since he was 19. Folks, you can't have problems everywhere you go, right? You can't have problems everywhere you go, and it's everyone else's fault. Pogba's had issues everywhere he's been. Since 19, look, it speaks about your character. I don't care if you break up with somebody. There are ways to leave situations, right? His situation leaving Man United, that was ugly. His situation leaving Juventus, that was ugly. Right? Now that becomes a pattern. That's a character issue. And Jadon Sancho now is a serious, serious concern purely for character, because he broke lockdown once, not because his mother or father or family member was ill. He needed a haircut. Jadon Sancho's first breaking, whether you agree with the global pandemic or not, have some self-awareness. You're in the corporate world. You need to present and hold a certain face. Whether the pandemic and coronavirus is real to you or not, put that aside for a second. What is he doing getting a haircut when there are clear restrictions in Germany? And as a footballer, because you're treated differently, to whom much is given, much is expected. What is he doing getting a haircut knowing that, for all intents and purposes, it's illegal at the time? Okay, you know what? He's young. He made a mistake. Now, Jadon Sancho and Ben Chilwell, which is a problem for Chelsea, if you're a Chelsea fan, and Tammy Abraham, who I said last week, I told you I have character concerns about him. But Tammy Abraham had a surprise birthday party. Oh, surprise, surprise. Who's there in a pandemic when you shouldn't be gathering? I believe the rules in England are no more than 6 people. Tammy Abraham had 20 people, it's believed. Oh, surprise, surprise, Jadon Sancho. The Sancho thing isn't about the money. People, when we lay out 90 million pounds for Paul Pogba, I don't want to hear you don't have the tactical discipline. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear, and it's tough. It's tough to say it. You've got to say to yourself, why isn't anybody else in the Man United team getting coronavirus. Right? Because Pogba opens himself up to this kind of criticism. No one else in the squad got it. Why did he get it? What was he doing? Who was he in contact with? Is everybody else training squad home? Because really, that's what you've got to do, right? Like the NBA players were stuck in the bubble. Those are the kind of sacrifice. And it's not even really a sacrifice, for goodness sake. You're a football player. You earn. And listen, they are creatures of habit. They like to do things their own way. So you've already got Pogba with problems. Jadon Sancho was just going to be another headache. So he goes and gets a haircut, and he goes to a party, which is illegal under state laws. So he's broken the rules, the law in Germany and England. Is that what you want to bring into your dressing room? At 108 million pounds, by the way, I'm not just buying ability. I need a bit of leadership. Don't give me he's young. I've seen it now. We have character problems. I can't do it. I'm sorry. If I'm the Glazers, there is no way I can swallow 108 million pounds when a guy, all right, first time you got a haircut, all right, you're not a little naughty, you're a child. Now to go to a surprise birthday, it's a huge thing. You know you're in the media. You know you're in the spotlight. Listen, Jadon Sancho, the ability's off the charts. But you've already got problems with Martial. You've already got problems with Pogba. The dressing room's a mess. I'm with the Glazers. And I said it 6 weeks ago. So anybody who's been watching the show, I said, Jadon Sancho is not coming to Man United. There is no way. There is absolutely no way if I'm Man United, I'm signing him. Now, can I get rid of Jesse Lingard and Anthony Martial? Cool. Then I can bring Jadon Sancho. I can carry that sort of risk. But now I've got Jesse Lingard. I've got Martial. I've got Jadon Sancho. I've got Paul Pogba, who's supposed to be the leader in the dressing room because the corporate language is money. I pay you the most money. It's to do the most. Does Paul Pogba look like he has any interest in guiding anybody? So the Sancho thing, I wouldn't be disappointed if I'm a Man United fan. I think you dodged a bullet. And we've seen this before, by the way. I always have maintained the biggest waste of talent in the history of all sport, every sport I've ever watched, all sport in the world. Young Brazilian man by the name of Robinho. Listen, Jadon Sancho is not better than Robinho was at Real Madrid at 20. Anybody who thinks that, you're dreaming. Robinho was in the Los Galacticos team and was the best player for 6 months at 20. Figo, Zidane, Michel Salgado, Roberto Carlos, Robinho, star player, La Liga. 20. He came to Man City, and you saw what happened when you didn't have Vincent Kompany at the apex. Robinho fell apart. He lasted a season. The rest is disastrous history. Jadon Sancho is nowhere near the Robinho talent level, by the way. Nowhere near it. I'm sorry. He is nowhere near it. At 20, Robinho could handle the heat at Santos, right? He could handle the heat at Santos, one of the biggest clubs in the world and in Brazil, and he could handle the heat and was the star player at Real Madrid. How did he leave Real Madrid? It was ugly. Character problems. Folks, I always say this. People's character is revealed when things are horrible, not when things are going well. How you handle a breakup, how you handle acrimony, how you handle conflict tells me your character. Not when things are going well and you are loved and you're supported. That's not when character comes. Jadon Sancho is a little bit uncomfortable now. Oh, I can't go and get a haircut. It's my friend's birthday. I'm not doing a virtual party. No ways. Forget it. It's me. Is that what you want at Man United? For me, if you're a United fan, by the way, congratulations for not getting Sancho. And I read an article that he's more likely to head to Liverpool. That's their problem. If I'm Man United, that's their problem. Let's rebuild the dressing room from inside. That's what I'd do if I was United. And I said it 6 weeks ago. There's no ways the Glazers are swallowing that pill. By the way, the Glazers are one of the most successful families in the world, whether you love them or hate them. You know who they've just signed? Because they have another franchise in America, right? Which hasn't been great for long. But you know who they've signed? Tom Brady. Folks, go and do the research on this guy. That's an adult. He's taken them from bottom of the barrel, and they're a serious Super Bowl team. Now they are a serious Super Bowl team. Character. He's going to lead the dressing room. Everybody, expectations raised. Big money, $25 million a year, 2-year contract for a 42-year-old. But they didn't sign Tom Brady for his playing ability. Brady's there because dressing room. They are not swallowing $120 million to have a guy come erode the dressing room. Those are my thoughts on Sancho. Again, breaking lockdown rules again. And we're going to hear what? Sorry. And I don't know if you saw his tweet. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. Listen, I'm not going to play the game, and I'm not going to play the game of Dortmund said the timeline and this and that. Man United aren't swallowing £100 million pill again because they've been bitten by Paul Pogba. And people say there's an agenda against Pogba. We've seen enough now. There's 4 years of evidence of what he is. Flaky, injury prone, and no tactical discipline. Flashes of brilliance, absolutely. A dressing room leader, no chance. Jadon Sancho's got those tendencies. And the problem is, right, if you buy Sancho now, you know what you're saying is, oh, your behavior is acceptable. By the way, carry on. Because there's no Roy Keane when he comes there to go, all right, you were doing that in Germany. Cool. That's fine. It doesn't work here. He comes, Paul Pogba probably, and we've seen, goes, oh, yeah, no, that's great. Keep doing it your own way. Don't worry about winning. We haven't been winning here anyway. My Instagram following's still going up. I'm still getting paid my salary. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm sorry, folks. And quite frankly, I tell you what, if Pochettino was at Man United, they probably would have got Sancho. But Ollie's shown me nothing that he can handle Martial. He can handle Lingard. He can handle Pogba. Pochettino comes in. By the way, if Poch comes in, my story changes. Because then I think you might see one or two leave. I have a problem to move. I don't know who's paying you $100 million in this environment for an aging, injury-prone, quite frankly, overrated player. Because listen, the stats now show it's 4 years of evidence now. Where's the production? Let's get away from it. Where's the production with Pogba? Give me production. I want to win. There's no agenda now. He's not unlucky. 1 year injury-prone and problems and the media. Okay. 4 years of media and character issues and not being tactically disciplined. That's you. And being unable to lead when you're the highest paid. That's you. That's you. That's Pogba. My thoughts. Love to know if you're a United fan. What do you think? I think you dodged a bullet. I genuinely think Man United dodged a bullet. And this is a great way to go. If it's going to be Ollie's team, let him get rid of the deadwood. Let's go over to this. Listen, the biggest crime on planet Earth is two things. Probably the biggest crime in the world is pineapple on pizza. Hawaiian pizza is for Neanderthals. It is for Neanderthals. Tropical fruit should never, ever be on pizza. I just want to tell you now, you are a revolting human being. There is nothing good about you. There is nothing good about you right down to your soul if you eat Hawaiian pizza. That is the biggest crime on planet Earth. Hawaiian pizza or anything with tropical fruit on it is the biggest crime on Earth as a pizza. Tropical fruit belongs in salads, and that's it. It belongs in salads and that see-through sort of drawer in the fridge. That is the only place I want to see tropical fruit. The second biggest crime on Earth currently is this thing we call international football. Why are we still playing international friendlies? Who does it serve? Other than being an injury risk, players don't earn any money off it. So it's really just a risk for players. It's really just a risk. And it's no longer the highest level of football. So why are we playing friendlies? And I know what people always say. Oh, but how do we qualify for World Cups then? Glad you asked. I'm very glad you asked. It's quite simple. Listen, we leave Antarctica out because I don't know if the Inuits are really into football and the 4-4-2 thing. So let's take 6 continents. All right, we got 6 continents. Here it is. I don't want participation trophies because this is the elite level. This is not everyone gets a medal nonsense. This is the elite level. It's cutthroat. Let's use a system that already exists. It's called the UEFA or the coefficient system. This is the first thing. How do you qualify for World Cups? Coefficients. So if your country can actually run a league with FIFA's help, if you can run a league, and if there's no corruption in your league, right? And if your players are safe, your players are playing, there's a certain standard of play, the revenues are a certain number. I mean, we can do all sorts of algorithms considering where you are in the world. So you're not going to have the same standards for Senegal as you're going to have for Liechtenstein. But we can do this. It's simple. If you've done statistics before, the metrics are pretty simple, how to kind of scale for everybody to kind of make an even field. We've got lots of smart people. They can do that. All right? We can do that. But what we do is we do the FIFA coefficient system. If you can run a league, right, that's how you qualify for a World Cup. So it's easy. No more of this nonsense of Europe gets 8 teams in the World Cup. Stop that nonsense. 4 teams a continent. 4 teams a continent, and you compete by having your leagues be strong, and you have the strongest national product. Now, what this does is it puts pressure on, all right, CAF, CONCACAF, whoever it may be, as in South America, is it puts massive pressure on you to get your own leagues right, but then more importantly, your own Champions Leagues right. Because that's part of the coefficient system. But anyway, let's not get into the weeds on the numbers. They are boring. 4 teams a continent, 6 continents, right? That's 24 teams. Forget this Qatar nonsense. We don't need 408 teams. I think it's going to 48 teams. It's stupid. 32 teams, right? So 24 teams, coefficient systems, 4 teams a continent, the 4 best leagues. I don't care which leagues they are. That's who gets in. I don't care. It's the you got to be the best. I don't care about participation awards. I'm that guy. Don't come to me with excuses. I just don't care about participation and romantic stories. And what about these guys who make it in and it's a lucky story? I don't care about England versus Iceland. I just don't care about seeing Iceland in the World Cup. If you have no chance to win, what are you doing there? Tell you how we do it. Right. So that's 24 teams, the 4 best leagues on each continent, right? Boom, we got it. Now, what this leaves is now you can start salivating. You go, oh, what's happening with the other places? I'll tell you what's happening. I'll tell you what's happening with those 8 other places. Every other team or every other league that didn't make it is you go into a playoff, and that's also on the coefficient system. There's an 8-team playoff. From around the world, remember, we've got the algorithms. The nerds at Harvard have figured out how to scale down the difference for Burkina Faso versus Switzerland, and how do we make the numbers work? How do we sort of ratio things so that it's fair? Because different countries, different standards, of course. But we'll let the nerds work that out. And I don't know, at Cianspo and Harvard and UCT, you nerds figure it out. That's not our problem. We just care about football. The 8 teams that are left, all you countries around the world. So every country around the world, those 8 teams, the coefficient, you go into a playoff, and I give you 2 teams from each league. So we bring 16 teams together. They have a winner-takes-all tournament. Those 8 countries, you're in. You're in. So I'll give you 16 countries, right? So 16 countries get to come to the playoff. 16 different countries that are not already in that 24. 16 different countries come together, winner takes all, 8 survive. That's it. You come together, 1 match, you're dead. Get the hell out. Gives you 32. We play this useless World Cup thing. We get back to Premier League, Champions League, and things we care about. Who cares about international football? It feels like an interruption. Who cares about players getting 100 caps for their country? It is so mean. Can I be honest? I know I'm wearing my Bafana Bafana shirt. I totally forgot that Bafana Bafana are playing tonight. Totally forgot. This weekend, I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do? There's an interruption to the league. It doesn't feel like it's adding anything. Now, I'd love to hear what people have to say about international football. I don't get it. I don't want to watch France last night play Ukraine. Stop telling me Paul Pogba played well. They played against a bunch of milkmen and plumbers. Why am I paying to watch that? Folks, for goodness sake, just end international football. It has no place in 2020. It's like, listen, anybody who's alive now, you either have an Android phone, right? Or you have an iPhone. Does anybody know anyone with a BlackBerry? Is anybody still on BBM in 2020? Of course not. Things change. We move on. International football had its place while we were fighting wars. That was 1917, 1944, 1939. What is the point of international football now outside of a World Cup? Listen, World Cups are cool. Been to 2, it's great. But you know what's better is, I love my favorite footballing experience of all time, La Bombonera, the chocolate box, El Clasico. Let me watch clubs. That's where the best players are. Billionaires gather the best talent. Let's go. International football, shut it down. Shut it down. Unless we're playing World Cups, I don't want to hear it. No one cares about Euros. Who cares about AFCON? Who cares about all of this stuff? Let's play World Cups. That's the highest international level. That's all you need. The Olympics aren't every 2 years. The Olympics aren't every 5 weeks. They're every 4 years. So just have the World Cup be special. Have international football be special. Who cares how many international caps you get? Use a coefficient system. We've got mathematics and nerds for that. And we can actually just have club football. Now, here's the great thing about where you save. FIFA takes all of that energy, all of that brain power, and most importantly, all of that money. All of that money. By the way, if you haven't seen Rounders, Teddy KGB says, pay that man his money. Take the money and you give it to the leagues. I don't know, you have a focus of 6 leagues in Africa, 6 leagues in South America, 6 leagues in Europe, 6 leagues, or I guess Australia, there's only 1 league. But let's fix all the leagues. And then you know what you do is you put all of those players in the window for Europe more often. In international football, the players are in the window every 4 years. Why? Put the players in the window, put things on TV, help Burkina Faso, because you got to have 10-year plans, right? It's not a short-term thing. Help Burkina Faso to have at least South Africa's league within the next 10 years. And if you don't think that's possible, I live in South Africa. I saw FIFA come here and take over this country for 8 months. If you don't think FIFA has more power than every government in the world, you're deluded. We lived it. If you're in South Africa, be honest. FIFA came here. It felt like I was living in Luxembourg for 6 months. So they don't have a money problem. I would take all of the brain power, all of the money, and develop. I'd say, listen, for these 10 years, these 6 leagues, here's the plan. Here's the amount of money you're getting. Here's what we're going to do to eliminate corruption. Here are the things that are non-negotiable. Here is what transparency is. And we move ahead. World Cups only. Don't ever want to watch international football. I'm going to be honest. I do not watch international football. I refuse. I won't do it. Love to know, what do people think? It's not an elite product anymore. It's not an elite product. International football's only elite in the last 8 of the World Cup. And people complain like, oh my God, if we lose the World Cup, it's the end of the world. Folks, there's only 5 teams that are serious. You're talking like it's the Champions League where, the Champions League has 10 teams that can win it. The World Cup is won by the same teams every time. We know there's 5 teams that are going to win it every time. So you're not really losing that much. Get the nostalgia out of it. That's it. So before I head off, I'll take any questions. If you do have any questions or reply statements, put it in the comment section and I will answer it if I can. There is rugby this weekend, by the way. Cliff Central Brew, if you'd like to get involved in the Super Brew, Cliff Central Brew. Cliff Central Brew, we are up and running. The rugby is back tomorrow. I'll tuck into rugby talk tomorrow evening. Before I go, let me answer. Jesse Randolph says, Dortmund said Man United were playing poker with someone that wasn't at the table. Listen, everybody has to manage the press. Everybody has to manage the press. Dortmund will hold their position, whatever it may be. There's all sorts of talk coming out of the DFB and Dortmund. Man United never wanted to sign Sancho. They wanted to appease their own fans. They're not swallowing £108 million for somebody with no character. They made that mistake with Pogba already. Don't want to go over it. The Glazers aren't idiots. I know Man United fans might feel like they are, but they're not idiots. They just signed Tom Brady for a reason. They brought Gronk back for a reason. Gronk's finished. He's not the same tight end. He's just a blocking tight end now. He's not getting 80 carries for 1,100 yards ever again. But you know what he does? He brings the New England, we want to win attitude with Brady. Sancho brings none of that. And by the way, I just want to make it clear. With Sancho, we've already seen a pattern again. Remember when he left Man City? How did he leave? It was ugly. He wants to leave Dortmund now. How did it go? Ugly. Breaking lockdown rules twice in 2 different countries. Self-awareness. Billionaires aren't idiots. Do you know the great secret of billionaires isn't that they're the smartest people? They'll only tolerate so much nonsense. They get smart people around them. And that Sancho thing, they realize how he left Man City. They realize, got kind of ugly. We didn't want this Dortmund thing to get ugly. What happens when he does that to us? You know, to use an analogy, hey, you know when somebody cheats on somebody, all right? And then they get in a relationship with that person. And then they are so shocked when that person cheats on them. Like, oh, my goodness. How could you do it to me? That's the same thing with Sancho. Don't be surprised if you're Man United that Paul Pogba's acting like he's acting, because he acted like this when he left Man United. He acted like this to leave Juventus. Go and look up the story of how Jadon Sancho left Man City's academy, and now look how he's leaving Dortmund, and look how he's breaking lockdown rules. If somebody cheated on their partner to be with you, you better believe down the line, you better be ready for Heartbreak Hotel. I'm just telling you how life is, people. You don't have to like it. I'm just telling you how life is. Character, it matters. And when pressure comes, characters reveal. So I don't think Dortmund had their number, meet the number, cool. If not, get the hell out. And I think Man United said, too rich for our blood. Jesse Randolph says, what do you think about Ozil getting left out of the Europa squad? It's sad how it's ending for him. Jesse, I'll be honest with you. I think it's the right move. Because what it tells you is the Arsene Wenger era is over. Doesn't it feel like it's the first time you can actually say that? It's the first time I feel like Arsenal are saying, we will not pander to players for far too long. For far, far too long. They've been held at ransom. They paid Carl Jenkinson £50,000 on a 6-year deal and learning him out every season. They paid an injury-prone Jack Wilshere when they probably should have let him go after his first contract. I think it's great for Arsenal. I think it's great to have a leader like Mikel Arteta. Folks, sometimes in leadership, you have to upset people. It doesn't mean you have to be ugly to people, but you have to make decisions that are unpopular. A mentor of mine always says, hey, stop worrying about being right. Get it right. Right? People that want to be right on the ego play, they want people to go, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Those are the types of people who think they are right because people retweet their stuff and push their heart on Twitter. Those are people who want to be right. It doesn't mean you've got it right. And my mentor keeps drilling this into me. Stop worrying about being right. Get it right. That's not the same thing. I know it sounds the same. It's not the same thing. And it makes you unpopular because a lot of people defer to their emotions. They go, oh, but we're paying Ozil all this money and he was so good at Real Madrid. Mikel Arteta sees what it is. You can lie to the media. You can lie to us. You can go out on social media and pay, the dinosaur's salary. You can do all of that. You can put out your social media. You can't lie to Mikel Arteta. He sees everything. And unlike Unai Emery, right? He doesn't need to try and be popular with anybody. Because here's Ozil's problem now. With Emery, Emre didn't really have cachet in the game. Okay, Sevilla, but that's kind of a C, B grade club. Mikel Arteta used to be the captain at all. In fact, Mikel Arteta's been the captain everywhere he went. He's a legitimate Premier League player, a legit title winner at Arsenal. So he's got cachet. He's got currency. Mesut Ozil in the battle against Mikel Arteta. It shows you what is the old adage. The king is dead, long live the king. The king is dead, long live the king. It's Mikel Arteta time now. So, Jesse, it might hurt, I think, in the short term, but sometimes, I tell you what, I'm a little bit into the health game, and people often ask me, hey, what's the toughest part of staying healthy? Or what's the toughest part of forming good habits? And you see this with Mikel Arteta. If you want to form good habits and you've been in a series of bad habits, here's the thing. The mentality is this. Unhappy now, happy later. If you want problems, if you want to run into problems in life, have this mentality. Happy now, I'll deal with the future. Right? If you want to be disciplined, unhappy now, so sad now, happy later. That's what Arteta's doing. We'll take the squeeze. There's no doubt about Ozil's probably still the best player at Arsenal, just in terms of ability. But Arteta's going, what does Arsenal look like in 3 years' time? Is Ozil in that? No. Is Guendouzi in that? No. Will I lose now? Yes. Will I lose in 3 years? Absolutely not. And what I like about Arteta's approach, and here's where leaders separate themselves, it's why there's the 1%, right? Is Mikel Arteta saying, when I get fired, if I get fired, inevitably in football, they all get fired. I'll be fired because I did it my way. You know, when you meet people in life, and this is why I always say to people, and how I try to conduct myself, is I'll never chase money. Chase good leadership. Money's everywhere. If you're good, you'll get money. Don't worry about it. South Africa and the globe, but South Africa is a relatively sophisticated economy. If you're good, they'll find you. I mean, if you're really good, I don't mean like if you have your friends telling you you're good. If you're good, they'll find you. If you're good, you'll make it. Don't you worry about it. They'll find you. If you're good, they'll find you. Right? And what I believe what Mikel Arteta is saying, it's a character thing. And what he's saying is, I back myself. If I get fired, it's on my terms. And that way, this is where, like I was saying, the leaders separate themselves, is I'm going to do it my way, and I'll live with the consequences. And I have something which somebody once told me. If you want to win in life, and if you really want to win, and if you want to win big, everything is your fault. So in life, don't ever tell me, oh, my mom was late, or I had this happen to me. If you want to win, because it's a brutal business, and this is what Mikel Arteta is showing you, Arteta's saying, everything's my fault. Everything's my fault. So how many people do you know in your life? I know far too many. I try and keep them away from me. Of, oh, it was so-and-so. Oh, I was hungover. Oh, I'm sorry I'm late. Everything seems to be everyone else's fault. If you want to win in life, everything's your fault. Now, people don't want to hear that. I know we live in a different time, folks. But Mikel Arteta says, niche, niche. And he's a smart guy. Speaks 4 languages. Smart. Been a leader everywhere he goes. Everton captain. Came to Arsenal straight away captain. FA Cup winner. As a player and coach. He knows. He knows what's up. So, Jesse, I really, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm encouraged. It hurts now. Look down at your stomach. If you want to lose that stomach, start making Mikel Arteta style decisions. Unhappy now. No more chocolates at 9 o'clock at night. Right? Push-ups. 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups in the morning. That's real life. That's what Arteta's saying. Unhappy now, happy later. That's how you win. If I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm delighted. Because we finally have direction. If you want to win, you must know where to place the blame in life. Everything is your fault. A mentor of mine has said that to me once, and I'll never forget it. If you want to win, everything is your fault. Mikel Arteta is saying, put it on my shoulders. So it's awesome. What do you think, Jesse? I'm not an Arsenal fan, but when I look at that, I'm encouraged. You know, and this is probably a touchy subject for people, because we live in a time where we're trying to marginalize bravado. But I've played sport at a decent level. Folks, you need dudes. Right? At that level, you need dudes. You need bravado. You need it. The greatest compliment anyone can pay you isn't about your sporting ability. If you ever listen to sportsmen talk, they say, oh, that's a dude. Just forget about playing. Mikel Arteta seems like a dude. Just like, that's not somebody to mess with. Doesn't that feel great? He's got a Julius Caesar thing about him. He's got that Fergie. I look at him, and I'm starting to see a young Fergie in Arteta. It's my way or the highway, and Arsenal, here are the standards. The great sporting saying is, hey, we don't play to the scoreboard, we play to a standard. And I think that's what Arteta's saying, is we're not going to play to what's popular, what's the media saying, who's paid the most. Is there's behavioral standards. Guendouzi, great talent. Get the hell out. There are non-negotiables. Isn't that great? That really sets people up to succeed. That really, I believe Arsenal are on a good footing. Now back him for 3-4 years, the deadwood will go. Look how quickly he got rid of Guendouzi. Isn't it amazing? I have to say, I'm highly, highly impressed. It bugs me because I don't love the Gunners. But I'm highly impressed by Mikel Arteta. He's clear, it's cut, and here's where we're going. You want to be on the bus? Great. If not, you can get off at the next stop. Not my problem. We're here to win. Jesse, I'd love to know what you think. If you're an Arsenal fan, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Is Arteta headed in the right direction? Leave the ownership out of it for a second. Doesn't it just feel, it feels like you've got some semblance of leadership. You've got an Arsenal with an identity. If you want to win, everything is your fault. Everything's your fault. Sorry, folks. There's no Messiah coming to help you. If you want to win, personal capacity in sport, in business, trust me, I've started 5 businesses. Great entrepreneurs don't make excuses. Mikel Arteta is not making excuses. He's probably spoken to the board. He says, tell you what, you give me 3 years, you will have a squad like you've never known before. They've said, all right, Mikel, no problem. We'll give you the rope to either pull yourself up or to hang yourself. Mikel Arteta's gone, great. And you know where you saw that? By the way, remember, they changed this title at the beginning of the season. And this is important. The devil's in the detail. He isn't a coach. Remember, Unai Emery was what? Head coach. Freddie Ljungberg was what? Head coach. Mikel Arteta, manager. Or as he might say in his Spanish accent, the manager. He's a manager. In his Catalan accent. He's brilliant. Nice dark hair. Handsome son of a gun as well. Good for you. Good for you, Mikel Arteta. I think he dyes his hair. It's unbelievable how dark it is. I should probably put a poll on that. Does Mikel Arteta dye his hair? He's a handsome son of a gun. My insecurities are coming out. He is a handsome son of a gun. And good for Arsenal. Like, I'm happy as a Chelsea fan with the direction we're heading. Right? A little worried about Lampard, but happy in general. But good for Arsenal. Good for the league, right? If Arsenal are good, it's good for the league. It's always been a classy establishment. Ozil, get the hell out. We play to a standard. Singanga85 says, Bossman, where do you think Leeds will finish in the league this season? Top 10. Top 10. Top 10. If you want me to put my hat on it, 10th. Purely because it's the first season where that intensity has to be matched with quality. And it's tough. No matter what business you're in, right? It's tough to keep intensity up and keep quality up. It's tough. It's tough even for the greatest. There's a reason why the cycle in the Premier League is you win 2 seasons, you fall off a cliff in the 3rd. United are the unicorn of having won 3 titles in a row. Nobody else has ever done it. Even the great Chelsea dynasty. Mourinho, 2 seasons. Pep Guardiola, all the money in the world, 2 seasons. Right? The cycles are what they are. So I think for Leeds, it'll be tough. They can maybe keep this intensity, but then those December games come. And they've invested. I think they've backed Marcelo Bielsa, El Loco, and they are fit. But what it'll take this season for them to be able to play at that intensity against this type of quality. You could maintain that intensity in the championship because you've often got the ball. Remember, in the Premier League, and we all know if you've played football, no matter what level you've played at, doesn't it seem much easier to play football when you've got the ball? Here, when you lose the ball and you're against Man City, you're chasing shadows for 65% of the time. In the championship, they could keep the intensity because they had 55% of the ball all the time. But top 10, well, I've seen enough. El Loco has got it. He is an absolute savant. He is an absolute genius. If you want to hold to me, you know what? I'll go 9th even. I'll even say 9th. Happy to do a prediction moving forward. They are unbelievable. Best football in the league. And you know what? You know what it is? Every football team gets the identity of their manager. Jesse, this goes to your question, right? Doesn't Arsenal feel like Arteta already? Steel, organized, ruthless. They feel more ruthless now. They feel like they will kick you. Arsenal have felt soft since Patrick Vieira left. Since 2004, Arsenal went soft. And Arsene Wenger went soft. As soon as Wenger said, 4th place is a trophy, Arsenal went soft. They've been soft since then. They had a soft center. But Arteta, look at him. He's steel. He's a man I will follow. And don't Arsenal feel like that? Every sporting organization, every sports team takes on the personality of its manager. Leeds have exactly that. Very, very smart patterns of play. Very intense. He is super intense. I mean, you see him on the sideline. Clever, right? Not obsessed with the traditional way of doing things. El Loco, he is the most influential coaching figure in football history. I encourage everybody to go and Google Tifo football. So go Tifo Bielsa, and you go and look how he is the most influential football figure of all time. Think of a manager right now. The two that come to mind, of course, Pep Guardiola, Diego Simeone. El Loco, the influence. But he has influenced more football managers, and he's done more for football. The last man to do what he did for football was Johan Cruyff, in terms of just the amount of managers who he has touched and the philosophy and his coaching tree. Idiosyncratic, clever, intense. It'll take them this season to settle down and play against the sort of quality with that intensity. But they're awesome. Aren't they great? It is so great for a team to just let loose. It feels like you're watching a Sunday league team. It's awesome. Top 10. Jesse says, I told you we were slowly building a great team. We don't have the players yet, but Arteta is brilliant. On the Ozil thing, I just don't understand why he's been frozen out. Jesse, I do. Once again, I do. You know, let me use a crass example. You know, I love nature. So let me use a very crass example. When male lions, right, when juveniles graduate to being men, by the way, the most dangerous life in the world, 1 in 5 lions make it to adult life. When male lions take over a pride, and they because what happens is they don't always kill the older male, is they kind of give him the option, Chief, you can go, or we know this is where this thing's going. But what is the tragic first thing that happens? Is all of the cubs from the previous, because the lionesses obviously they genuflect and there is a new king in town. Generally, the juveniles go in 2. Sometimes there is just 1, but generally juveniles they form a brotherhood and they go together and they lead a pride together as 2. What's the first thing you do? You take out all of the cubs from the previous, right? Because you don't want that coming back to haunt you. By the way, there's a good reason. I don't want to go into the long grass, but I think you get the idea. Is you take out the cubs from the previous male lion. Why? Everything that's here, it's me. I think Ozil's being frozen out. It's a message. Nobody is above the manager. And I think Arteta is saying, I used the saying earlier, the king is dead, long live the king. It's me now. Wenger, dead. Emre, dead. Losing, dead. Top 4 being a trophy, dead. All of that is dead. We are uprooting mediocrity. We're doing it now. And nobody is immune. I think that's what he's saying. I think you have to look a little deeper into the messaging with Ozil is, and Jesse, I think you've heard me say this. Personally, I'm not interested in talent. I'm not. There's lots of talented people. I have no interest in you being talented. What's your character? Because I can teach a hard worker to be productive. If you're talented and you're lazy and you're always late and you always hungover on a Monday morning, I don't care. I can't deal with that. System over talent. And that's what Mikel Arteta is saying. There's a system, there's non-negotiables. Mesut Ozil clearly hasn't met those. And Arteta seems to be like the guy who walked in the room. Gentlemen, there are the 10 rules that are non-negotiable. If you can't jive with that. So I do understand why he left them out. It's a message to everybody, not just people in-house. By the way, it's, hey, Thomas Partey, as you come in, I know you think you're a big-time signing. Here's what happened to Mesut Ozil, World Cup winner, La Liga winner. Mesut Ozil was the best player at Real Madrid. Mikel Arteta says, I don't care. The king is dead. Long live the king. I'm the guy now. So, Jesse, I do understand it. You sometimes have to, when people lead, there's a great saying in leadership is, we often think leaders are just managing down. They're not. They're managing up to investors, to shareholders, right? They're managing sideways to colleagues, so to co-board members, and they're managing down to middle management, etc. Mikel Arteta is making it very clear that it's me now. So he's managing up. He's managing the ownership by saying, here are my expectations. He's managing the league like he's sending a message out, right? He's managing Aubameyang, saying, okay, you're my guy. Let's get the contracts done. Here are certain players that I'll keep with me. Guendouzi, you got to go. He's showing that holistic management. And part of the management, by the way, is if you don't stick to the standards, get the hell out. So I do understand the Ozil thing, but I'm not an Arsenal fan. So you're feeling more emotional than maybe taking a step back and going, what is Arteta's plan here? Because it's ugly. It's ugly to lose now. If you look, I hate to use this example. People, it's like me. If you overweight like me and you look down at your stomach, you go, yes, I'm never going to lose this stomach, right? But Mikel Arteta says, yeah, you can. You just have to have a 6-week plan where you wake up every day and do 40 push-ups, 40 sit-ups. That's what he's saying is, I'm going to suffer now, happy later, because in 6 weeks, if I keep doing the push-ups and sit-ups, I'll lose the stomach. That's what he's saying. It hurts now. Oh, Mesut Ozil, world-class player. That hurts right now. But it sets a standard because then for the next 5 years, we good. It hurts. Unhappy now, happy later. Arteta has a good hairline. He does. He's a handsome son of a gun. I do have to say, I resent him for that. He's a handsome son of a gun. Some of us will never know that life. Jesse Randolph saying, Liverpool are great at selling players. 25 mil for Brewster. Did he even make a Barclays Premier League appearance? Listen, you pay a British tax there as well, remember. You do pay a British tax. Listen, that's not a new thing. I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi at 18, they were talking about 70 million pounds. What? Are you kidding me? So yeah, Liverpool are great. They are. They've got good ownership and a good manager right now. They've got a good thing going. People believe in them. That's what happens. So Jesse, there you see what happens is you invest in-house. That's what happens. Because that's more of an image thing. It's like, oh, he's been under Jurgen Klopp. No, he must be good. If Klopp thought he was good, he must be good. So we'll pay a premium. I think that's what Arteta wants to create at Arsenal, to answer your previous question. Singanga85 says, of course, no one wants to chase the ball. I agree. Football's so much easier when you've got it. So if Leeds can figure out a way, and Oloko's brilliant at what Fergie used to call getting people on the carousel with the passing tiki-taka, right? That is his notion along with Johan Cruyff. But in the Premier League, it's a little different. So Singanga, they're echoing the point that football is much easier when you've got the ball. Can Leeds keep that intensity for long? I think you'll start to see them dip in January. But for now, we're new in the league. We got a new manager. We're feeling good. We got a couple of new signings. I say top 10. Jesse says, what I like most about Arteta is that he is willing to sacrifice playing nice football to win the game. He knows what his players are capable of. Great point. That is the comment of the evening. Smart people are what? I've always said it. And if you've been with us from the beginning, is smart people are self-aware. Because, and we see it in our personal lives, right? We see it in our personal lives. I know there's some people that think they're smart, and I have smart people in my life far smarter than me. Is what do smart people do more often than not? No one's perfect. They make good decisions. And in order to make good decisions, you have to be self-aware. And people that are self-aware do what? The world is as it is, not how I want it to be. And that's what I love about Mikel Arteta. Because he probably wants to play like Pep, expensive. But he goes, hey, I have to adjust to what I have. There's the dream. And once again, in business, if you've ever had a business, is when things go wrong, you don't change the vision, you change the method. You still want to go to the same vision. You still want to become a $10 million business, right? You may have bumps and bruises. You don't change the dream. You don't change the number. You don't change the vision. You change the methodology. And that's what he's saying. Arteta's saying, I want to win the league. Okay, it's not possible now. How do I maximize what I have now? Self-awareness, people. And I admire it because I don't have it in my life. But I have people around me who I admire who are extremely self-aware. And those are the types of people I like in my life. And Mikel Arteta's showing you. People yap a lot, man. There are some people, it's like, they'll tell you how great they are. And then there are some people, the real OGs. Okay, 5 years ago, he said he was going to do this. Oh my goodness, here he is now. He's not driving the flashy car. But he's got a 15 million rand business. He's got a $2 million business. He said it 5 years ago. I haven't seen him yapping on social media. But my goodness, here he is with his third property and a 15 million rand business. Self-awareness, Mikel Arteta. He came in, won a trophy straight away. He came in, Guendouzi had to go. Ozil's gone. Standards. It goes a long way. Self-awareness goes a long, long way. Jesse, I could not agree with you more. And I'm happy for Arsenal fans. Let's not get it twisted. I hate Arsenal. But just because you hate somebody doesn't mean you can't admire them. I admire Mikel Arteta. I have to say it. And there has to be you have to be a Tottenham fan to not admire Mikel Arteta. You have to be. And we'll finish off on this. Folks, you've been awesome. We've nearly touched on an hour tonight. It's been great being with you. Thank you for all the great comments, Singanga, Jesse Randolph, and to all who've been watching. By the way, Gareth Cliff, physical distancing. He was talking to Donald Trump. If you haven't seen it, So What Now? Go and watch So What Now on ETV. By the way, he was talking to Donald Trump's niece, and she had some things to say about the Donald. If you're that way inclined, we'll finish off on this great comment. Singanga85 saying, I agree with that. You have to be willing to graft. You need heart. Singanga, you've just followed up Jesse's great comment with an unbelievable comment. That's just great life advice. Singanga, whoever you have in your life, or whoever's lucky enough to have you in your life or in their life, they're very lucky to have you. That statement is applicable across the board. Talent is great. It's exciting. I know. Talent's amazing because it moves us. It's evocative. It shifts us when people are talented and good looking and, effervescent. They move us. We pander to our emotions. It's much easier to do that. It's exciting. Right? Chocolate's nice. Oh, it's nice. Remember, just because something's good, it doesn't mean it's good for you. And Singanga's telling you that. What happens when the excitement dies down? Read a story the other day. 91% of businesses shut down, right, within 3 years. Global stats. 91% of businesses shut down. You know why? Because the excitement's gone. The novelty's gone. Now you got to do 18 hours a day still. No one's looking in the dark. Singanga saying it. So Singanga, whoever's in your life, you have to have character. Talent, it's nice. Right? Talent isn't going to get you there. I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. Talent isn't going to get you there. Talent will take you over the top, though. Start with character, add the talent. They've all done it. Warren Buffett, Alex Ferguson, Bill Belichick. Start with character, add the talent. The talent doesn't... you don't win with talent. You win with character. The talent takes you over the top. Business, life. I have so many great people in my life, and Singanga, people like you. I believe that's awesome, dude. I honestly, I believe that's what he said there. You need heart. You got to graft. That's life. That's relationships. That's business. It's all the same. It's all the same. If you want a good relationship in your personal life, right? I'm learning this, and I have, I'm very fortunate to have people that work hard on our relationship. I'm watching the great people around me, and they teach me so much. And you see it in sport all the time. You got to graft, even on personal relationships. Work on them. You got to work, right? I'm not a motivational speaker, but like nothing comes easy. It's all about character. And Singanga 85 and Jesse Randolph saying great things there. Singanga 85 saying, I agree with that. You have to be willing to graft. You need heart. And I believe he's talking about Arsenal or just great teams in general. Vaughn Deploy says, great talk. Thanks, man. And Vaughn, hey, Vaughn, please. Thank you. Thank you. And to everybody, you could have been anywhere. By the way, I don't know what happened to Bafana tonight. I hope they beat Namibia. If they didn't, we're going to have a problem. Listen, Twitter's not going to forgive them because Namibia part-timers, Bafana, all sorts of players from overseas. Come on, guys. Come on, the boys. Come on, Isquat. Ladies and gentlemen, from me, I'm MKT. He's Gareth Cliff. This is the MKT Show, and I am out of here.